So I'm not a big believer that you can forecast who had the best NFL draft. I don't know how a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounder is going to do, but I have felt through the years I can be more accurate assessing who won the draft if I combine your free agent moves with your top 2 or maybe 3 picks. Then my accuracy on, grading what you did, looking how you improved, much easier. And using that, the Chicago Bears, more than any NFL team, will simply look different. They upgraded personnel more than any NFL franchise, almost all of it on offense. One team, the Chicago Bears, between Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Gerald Everett, Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, that's a grown-up group. And because the division is now so stacked offensively, go look at Minnesota's offensive personnel, Green Bay's in Detroit. There's only one way to win in that division, and it's not defense. You're going to have to outscore people. 3 offensive coaches, and the Bears have a defensive coach. So last season, the Chicago Bears were 27th in passing. They're not going to look anything like that this season. They were a terrible fourth quarter team. They could not play from behind. You have to be able to play from behind, especially in a division with 3 offensive coaches and stacked offensive rosters. The Bears couldn't last year, but now they have 2 legit receivers and now a rookie who could be a 3rd, 2 legit tight ends, NFL productive, a good running back, 2 legitimate tackles, and yes, a much better quarterback. It's not close. Caleb Williams is significantly more talented, more accurate than Justin Fields. So the first time I can ever remember the Bears having a top 7, 8, 9, 10 offensive personnel group. This is a real team, a real offense. And if you count free agency and your top couple of picks, no NFL team, and it's the right side of the ball, will look more different than the Chicago Bears. One of the best receiver groups in the league, one of the most talented quarterbacks, better than average tight end, a running back that can catch. Poles is a former offensive lineman. I like both their tackles. This is the way. This is the side of the ball. And no team upgraded more than the Chicago Bears if you count free agency and their top couple of picks. That I can guarantee. The other takeaway from the offseason, free agency and draft, is the opposite end of the spectrum, the Dallas Cowboys, who did not get any better in free agency. They had no money because they're overpaying Dak, and did not draft a running back, although they need 2 desperately, and they need another receiver or 3, and they only got 1 in the 6th round. They will be more dependent on Dak Prescott than ever before. And there are basic lines that we know are true. If Dak doesn't get 100 yards run support, he's got a losing record. Dak has feasted on losing teams in the NFL. And with Philadelphia signing A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and acquiring Saquon Barkley and upgrading coordinators, you better be ready and you better have ammo. And Dallas signed Zeke, who is washed. We saw it in New England. So don't confuse tanking with strategy. Billionaires would rather have an average season but maintain leverage. I mean, Jerry's not going to Super Bowls in the last 25 years anyway. What he doesn't want to do, and the reality of how Jerry Jones has lived the last several years, is paying a B quarterback A+ money. And he does not want to do that again. He would rather sacrifice this season. They'll be good. They won't be terrible. They got too many good players. It's the NFC. It's weak. Washington, New York still kind of rebuilding teams, right? But Jerry does not want to lose leverage again like he did last time on Dak and massively overpay for him. And the rumors and the numbers that Dak wants is $55 to $60 million a year. That's Mahomes territory, and he's not close. So what did the Cowboys do? Didn't draft a young running back, didn't really attack receiver. They rebuilt their offensive line for Dak perhaps, or the next quarterback. I thought it was strategy. I'm not in a contract year going to let your numbers soar. Hey, Mahomes won a Super Bowl without a number 1 receiver. You've got a number 1 receiver. You have a more than capable head coach. He won a Super Bowl. You've got a good, solid B, B minus, B plus tight end. But we're going to build the offensive line. That's how we got you to be 13-3 when you entered this league. I thought it was a strategy draft, and I don't disagree with it. But billionaires do not like losing leverage. They'll lose football games. They're okay losing football games. They don't like losing leverage. And Jerry wants leverage in negotiations. And my guess is when you take Dak's run game away, his numbers drop. And that's what Jerry... Now, you can win games, and they can win games with that new O-line and that defense, but it won't be a Dak-led team because we know the truth is when Dak has to be the centerpiece of the offense without a great run game. And Zeke's not the answer. Yeah, you're not the Lions. You got whacked by the Packers in the playoff game. You're not the Rams anymore. You're not the Niners. Forget the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. Jerry knows the truth here. This is going to be a completely Dak-led offense, and there'll be limitations in a contract year. Bill Belichick, I know everybody loves him, was allergic to offense. He's got great stories. That's awesome. He's the best defensive coach ever. That's also great. He doesn't know what he's doing offensively with personnel. The last 8 drafts will tell you this. So Gerard Mayo, one of his better players, comes in. He's the new coach. 7 of 8 picks, offense. The first 5 picks, offense. I've watched most of these guys play. It's the anti-Belichick draft. So last year, Bill Belichick, even with the slowest, least dynamic receiving core, tight end core in the league, that's not disputable, started the draft with a corner, a defensive tackle, and a linebacker, later drafted multiple guards and a kicker. They did nothing to help Mac Jones. Gerard Mayo comes in, offense with Elliott Wolf. So the Houston Texans, for the record, their general manager worked under Belichick for years. How is it that the Houston Texans over the last 2 years have been so good in personnel, drafting and free agency, with the same guy in New England, and they butchered it? Because Belichick had his thumb on Nick Caserio. The young man goes to Houston. Houston now is one of the models of personnel of the last 2 drafts and the last 2 free agency periods. So I don't know how good Drake Maye is going to be, but they're setting him up to succeed. And, the other thing is, if you look at Mac Jones, and I think we all admit now, he was a Pro Bowl his first year, but there was a ceiling with Mac Jones. And Drake Maye's a bigger, stronger guy with better mobility. He's a better athlete. He is. But they didn't do anything to help Mac Jones. They overpaid for possession receivers and overpaid for mediocre tight ends. I mean, they brought in Zeke, who was washed at running back. They did nothing to help him. They made the offensive coordinator Matt Patricia. So I don't think Mac Jones was ever going to be Patrick Mahomes, but you got to help these young guys out. And whether or not Drake Maye makes it, I don't know. But this draft was built to help the young guy. Speed, receivers, linemen, built to help the young guy. I mean, Belichick let Jacoby Myers go, who was universally thought of as their most talented receiver and their hardest working. They let him go. They let Joe Thuney go, the best interior offensive lineman New England's had in a decade. So I don't know if Gerard Mayo is going to make it. I don't know if Drake Maye is going to make it. But they're giving the kid a shot. Belichick did nothing to help Mac Jones. Probably the only thing he did I liked, he moved off Cam Newton. Remember the second year in camp, he's like, we're going to go with Mac Jones. That's what you do. We know in the last 20 years, we know this. We have all the data on it. Last 20 years, first-round quarterbacks are a 50-50 proposition. But if you go back and look at the ones that have succeeded, almost without exception, though there are some exceptions, they've gone to the better organizations. Baltimore, Kansas City, the Rams. That's the guys that have succeeded. Then there are the players like Trevor Lawrence, who doesn't go to an elite organization, or Justin Herbert, and they're so good they can get into the playoffs. But there's almost no chance for a B prospect to flourish when you don't give them help. I mean, J.J. McCarthy, in my opinion, and in the opinion of the NFL GMs, Drake Maye is more talented than J.J. McCarthy, right? But J.J. McCarthy has a much greater opportunity to flourish in Minnesota than Drake Maye does in New England. I did like this draft, though. It's the anti-Belichick draft. It was receivers, skill people, offense. I mean, last year they go corner, linebacker, and defensive tackle, kicker, and 2 guards. When all they had is possession receivers. You're not giving Mac Jones a fighting chance.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.